Good morning and welcome to POG Philly Outdoor Girl Gardening Life. And today is the 27th of June. It's about 88 degrees here, and today's topic is canna lilies. Canna lilies happen to be one of my favorite plants. I went away, I don't even remember where I went, and I just saw how beautiful these flowers are and how tall they got. And I said, well, I want some. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen any Philadelphia before. And then as I started traveling around Philadelphia, I noticed people had them all over the place. And I was like, okay, if they can do it, so can I. So a few years back, a colleague of mine said, oh, I have some in my yard. And she gave me some. She gave me two. From two, I got about 150. Yes, a whole lot. So what I'm going to show you is a few things. You have canna lily seeds, which you can grow the flower from. You have the rhizome or the, oh, that's bad. The rhizome or the tube is what we call what you can grow the flower from. In my garden, we have two different varieties. Okay, remember the leaf is a different color that comes from this deep purple, and it can have this green. This is just starting to grow in Philadelphia. Most of the times in Philadelphia, what I notice is any canna lily that is near a building grows really well. If they're out in like by themselves, secluded area, or out in the open area where the snow can sit and all that other stuff can happen to it, they don't do well. What does that mean? They'll get what's called root rot. Root rot means it becomes soggy. That tuber that I showed you becomes soggy, and then it won't grow in the spring. So these here have been here for, I'm gonna say 2 years. It's really important that you decide where you want to put them. They need full sun. And when I say where you want to put them, because this will grow about 8 to 11 feet tall. So when you're talking 8 to 11 feet tall, you want to make sure, hey, can I see what's going on in my garden? Can I see what's going on in the neighborhood? What's going on? So I have some here, like I said, and I have some in front, which will grow. They're 8 to 11 feet tall, and that'll block off the world out there from me. Okay, so let's go back to the book. All right, when you have cannas, you want to make sure you deadhead. So here we go. What does that mean? After this blooms, completely blooms and starts drying off, cut this off. You want to cut this off because it'll make it grow more. Okay, inside here will be the seeds. I let all of mine grow to seed so that I can have seeds for the next season. Okay, this flower likes slugs. This flower is liked by, say that right, slugs, snails, caterpillars. So I make sure I mulch, and down here you'll notice there's some straw left. I need to put some more straw down, and I will probably today. The straw stops those creatures from getting to it, especially the slugs and the snails, because they don't like that rough terrain, so they're not going to go over it, okay? It won't stop the caterpillars. There's only one caterpillar that I don't like on here, and that one will infest right up in here. When that happens, it kills the whole plant, so you have to be wary about that. I have not seen that happen in Philadelphia often, but like I said, both of mine give me a red flower. I want an orange one and I want a yellow one, so I'm looking for friends who have orange and yellow so I can go get some seeds so I can propagate them and put them in my garden. They say that they can be grown all year round in our zone. We are zone 7. I don't agree with that. Like I told you before, if I plant them out front, I then dig them up and bring them back up. And that's how I got those rhizomes you saw in the bucket, okay? Because I dug them up and I put them in the bucket. They are great for containers as well as your garden. If you wanted to, you could put them in any pot. When you put them in a pot, you want that to be your centerpiece. That's your thriller. I know you've probably heard thriller, spiller, and filler. Thriller is the one that goes in the center. The filler is on the outside, and then the bottom is the spiller, okay? And if you're gonna plant them in Philadelphia, you want to make sure you put them out after that last frost. You know, everybody in Philadelphia probably knows the same saying, plant them at Mother's Day. You can plant them a little bit earlier because that isn't usually the last frost. The last frost is usually late April, but most people in Philadelphia go with Mother's Day. By then you should have the right temperature. Can you transplant? Yes, you can break these up and move them Do I do it? Yes, and I don't do it in the summertime in the direct heat. I wait till spring, or I'll do it in the late fall. What else? I think that's pretty much from the book. I did tell you bright red, orange, and yellow color. They draw hummingbirds, they draw butterflies, they draw bees. Remember, I'm a pollinator gardener, so that's why I want them. And if you notice, right up above it, I have a hummingbird feeder. So if he's not getting enough from this, he can get enough from that. So let's go back to the table. On the table, I have two things. I have the seeds. If you're going to propagate these by seed, at the end of the season, you want to pull out all the seeds. Okay, when you pull out all the seeds, there's going to be a little shell around them. It should go from green to brown, and then once it goes to brown, you'll be able to pull the seeds out. They'll pretty much fall out. You then want to take a knife and you want to scar the shell or the seed coating. You really need a really good knife. This is not a really good knife because I was just trying to demonstrate, but you want to scar it. And basically all that means is you want to scratch through until you see white. Once you scar it, you want to place it in water and let it sit in water. You want the water to cover it. After it covers it, you will start seeing white shoots come out of it. Once those white shoots come out for it, take it and put it in some soil. You now have a new canna. Okay, next. These are my rhizomes that I saved. Okay, all of this is not good. So what do? I take a pair of scissors and I cut off all those extra roots. Okay, so I'm gonna, and look, you can tear them off. And for those of you who know or remember, I am a horticultural science teacher at a school, and my students, when we pull these up, they hate this part because they have to take and they have to pull all the stuff off. And then after we get it all cleaned, and you want to make sure you have all these little roots off. Okay, all these little roots off. I'm gonna cut this here too because that's dead. Okay, now here is a completely clean. And remember, this is what it looked like before. Completely clean. You can even pull off this. I could probably toss off that. And see, this is how I can tell this part here is dead because it feels mushy. But this part is great. So I'm going to leave this just like this. Now, if I wanted to, I can place this right in the ground. It'll take about 3 to 5 weeks to get a new canna. It's too late for me. I'm going to store this for the winter. What does that look like? I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it into a bag, a paper bag, and then put it in my basement, and I'm going to store it in the basement for the winter time. Okay, so this is a clean one. This is not cleaned yet. When I go to put it in the ground, you can lay it any way you want because she knows how to do it. It's not like an elephant ear where you have to have the direction right. This one, it doesn't matter. Just place it in the soil 3 to 6 inches down, and you'll have a beautiful canna lily in the springtime. Now, you come back over here, you will notice this root decided that she wanted to come up. This root is bad. See? It is horrible. So all you do is just pull it out. I usually don't pull it because the worms like it, and they like worms. They need the worms. The worms help aerate the soil. That soil helps the worm aerate in the soil, means it's going to put holes in the soil that allows the water to get in. They need water. They like moist soil. pH can be 6.5. Actually, it can be anything. They will survive in most of it. They're very tolerant. Today is June the 27th. I hope you enjoyed our conversation on cannas. If you have any questions, please post them at the bottom. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day.